Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Joe Bachman with Behind the Code, also founder of Independent Creator Directory, which we are broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch currently. So, um, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these shows. Work has been really rather hectic this year, so shows are going to be sporadic, but we do have a new project. We are working with the host of Nevermind the Furthermore and the Historical Fencing Guild, Nicholas Tockert, and we are turning his Big Stompy Robots game from a tabletop tactics game into a 2D top-down game. Uh, what we're going to be using is either Godot 3 or Godot 4. I'm going to start with Godot 3, probably port it over to Godot 4 once I do some more of those tutorials. There is quite a bit of difference, it seems like, between the coding of those two, but there's also a lot of similarities. And Godot 4 seems to have a little more, I don't want to say robust, but that's probably about the best word. A little more robust in the features as far as gameplay seems to be concerned. So, one of the other things we're using, and I actually found this through the Godot tutorials that I'm doing on Zenva.com, is a website called Kenny, KENNEY.NL. It's Kenny Assets. They have a ton of free to use 2D and 3D sprites that are free to use for any purpose, commercial, educational, whatever. Um, I'm actually going through in the background right now, behind the code. Uh, I am unzipping. I actually paid the $20 to be able to download everything all at once, which helps support their site and create, keep them up and running to create new stuff. Um, So that is currently unzipping. I did not realize it was going to take as long as it's taking. There's still about 8 minutes, well, 12 minutes left now. Apparently, I am unzipping that to my slower hard drive, so we'll get to that when we can. However, one thing I do want to do is pull out the uh, Godot 3 screen and kind of give an idea of what we're looking at here. So, move myself down here. This is the Godot editor, and we're gonna move this over to my other screen so I can see both things at once here. Uh, Godot is similar to kind of like Unity for creating games. With this, you can do 2D or 3D games. The 2D, you can either do a top-down view like what I'm doing here, or you can actually do a platformer side-scrolling type game. Um, it does have the ability to do 3D. This particular file is set up for 2D though. And the scripting is somewhat similar to Python. So if you're someone who uses Python, you'll probably be able to pick this up pretty well. Uh, the code that you're seeing here is actually from the tutorial that I've been going through to learn this software. And why am I going nuts all of a sudden? Oh, thank you for the reminder to be ready to start my video at 1 o'clock, 5 minutes later, Facebook. You are awesome as always. So let's go ahead and start the game up so you can kind of see what we are doing here. We stop that one and pull up the actual game screen. So in the game here, right now it's just a little 2D character. You can see him kind of walking. There is no weaponry yet, but you can interact with crates, which gave us some gold. And then we have an enemy that once you get close enough, he starts following you. Now you are faster than the enemies in this, so you can outrun them. But if you get close enough to them, they will give you damage. And but you can also attack them. Took longer than it should have. Um, you can attack them and take them off the screen. And as you do that, it actually gives you experience, which helps you level up. We got health packs to heal with, and as you can see, we do have colliders set up to where I can't run into or run through stuff. Um, got the colliders set up on the trees, which I only set up on the bottom half of some of these taller trees. Um, I thought it was kind of pointless that you couldn't go through some of those. Others, I did set it all the way up. Yes, right now you can walk on water. I haven't actually set up a collider for that yet, but this is kind of a base, you know, base game to get us started. Nick has gone through and created a few sprites, so let's go in and see if we can get those sprites to play nice here. Um, so we got a BSR scene already set up. We're gonna drop him in here. Actually, before we do that, let's take him back out because Nick actually created additional sprites for that. So let's pull up. Um, Actually, we are going to have a guest, possibly. So let us copy this real quick and send the invite out. And now come back up here. And we need to save. Nope, we don't want forward. We want to save these. So where I can easily save these? Probably not. So that one was called BSR up. This is going to be called BSR underscore right. Save this one. BSR down. And BSR left. All right. So we've got those saved. Now let's go to back into Godot here. And we're gonna open up our BSR scene. We're also gonna open up our player scene because I don't remember right offhand how this was done. So I'm gonna have to remember. That's right, I did an animated sprite. So let me just make sure nothing is important there. Okay. All right, so we have our BSR set up here. We're actually going to delete that node and the collision node for now. And we're going to go in, add a child node. And we are looking for an animated sprite under node 2D. So when you're doing nodes, nodes are basically, you're telling Godot what you're creating. And every node has a type. It can be simple as just a regular node 2D. or kind of narrows it down even further. In this case, we're wanting an animated sprite. So for this, we're going to do an animated sprite under the node 2D type since we're doing a 2D game. And we need to give it a texture. So let's go back to player here. And let's go back. And I want to go back into BSR here. And actually, we need to add these various sprites into here. So where did I just save those two? Tell me I saved them in the right spot. I did. Whew. All right, so for this, we're just going to click and drag in a few things here. BSR down, BSR left, BSR right. And that's the other nice thing about this editor is you can just drag stuff straight in here. So let's get this moved around. We want to have some resemblance of actual file structure. And there's our
Sorry, it caught me in the middle of getting ready for late lunch.
Oh, not a problem.
So I may be witnessing your techno majory whilst eating mac and cheese in a moment, which I know that's absolutely problematic, but this is so cool, Joe. This is so cool.
Well, I'm hoping this is going to work the way I'm wanting it to. So we're going to do a new sprite frame. And we need the BSR. Oh. Okay, so that's okay. I ran into this yesterday when I was messing with this, so that's centered. There we go.
See, that's comforting because it means the tanks that I so happily designed that ended up smaller than the light tanks I was designing and sending to you can just be resized fairly easily.
Yes.
Really reminded why I used to love vector stuff so much compared to your raster stuff. It's so nice to just be able to abuse it.
Yeah. It took me when I was first doing this the other night when you sent the first sprite over. I popped it into this BSR scene here, and I'm looking at it going, that seems huge. I zoom out. I'm like, what was the player scene looking like? And I go to that one. And I look at the zoom percentage. I'm like, I'm at 100% there. I'm at 23% on the other one. Crap.
Oh.
And the one thing the tutorial hadn't covered was how to scale stuff. And I'm like, I'm looking through. I'm like, okay, well, I can set position. I'm like, I wonder if scale is what I think it is. So I just started typing numbers.
Oh yeah, I love it. I thought you wanted me to work in Kinney because you sent me the link, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So I started learning this new. It's because it's really cool. It's almost like 2.5 rendering is the only one. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have a z-axis to play with at any point.
Right.
But it's really nifty with the way you model stuff. And I realized, having messed with it, I have all these. I was experimenting with making perler, the perler beads,
Hmm.
and doing perler bead versions of the different units. Like, I need to dig that box out, dig my con box out, get those out because those are literal pixel maps,
Yeah.
and I could just already use because I've got some great like blast effects and different things I was messing with that I can go, hey, I'll do it like this and just hand it to Joe later.
Hmm.
So yeah, this
Yeah.
is some cool.
When I sent you the Kenny website, that was more just kind of give you like a base reference. um, but if that software is doing a great job
Oh yeah,
with creating
it's
these, it really is.
um sometimes people get caught up in wanting the like super powered big software,
Hmm.
and I find when I'm doing production grade stuff, a lot of times stuff with less features lets you streamline down to very simple creations that just work.
Yeah. Well, and actually, that's kind of what I want to show here is bringing it back up to full scale. It has depth. You know, for being a 2D model,
Yeah, thank you.
and which I know is partly like the different coloring to show kind of shadowing and stuff, but it seems like it lets you lay it out really nice and easy.
It really is. And I was actually, it's funny, you caught me. I was getting ready to set up to do my art stream because, and I'd forgotten that lunch is a thing and I need to eat it.
Are you and my wife like related somehow? Because I swear both of you forget.
I am trying, that has been something so many people have asked us. Your wife has, people have complimented me on how good my daughter looks. Remember, it was my 30th birthday. I got the
Yes,
senior discount at Denny's. They thought Trelena was my daughter and my son was my grandson.
I do remember that now.
So yeah, I've had people like, "You sure she's not your sister?" Like, "Oh no, at least we're cousins or something." It's enough we can still flirt, in most of the states.
Right?
But no, I'll get going and I'll forget to eat. Or, well, okay, you say this. Hey Joe, you ever get a project in your mind and forget that sleep is a thing?
I'm gonna plead the fifth, and you can't. You
Now
can't
I
pictures or it never happened.
all I can say is I sent you some of the lovely sprites at between 2 and 4 in the morning because I did the sleep and sleep halfway through said no, no, thou shalt not. Like, okay, I am not sleeping. Detach from my regeneration pod, get all the sleep armor off, hobble my way in here, start going. Oh, I can't sleep, but I can't think real clear. I'll make sprites because sprites aren't think. You know. What's great is it has one of the things this program has besides that you could take it and every pixel has a depth value.
Yes, I started reading up on it. Um, so at the beginning of the show, I was kind of explaining. I actually went through. They offer for $20 to be able to download all of their sprites all at once.
Oh wow.
One huge pack. It's like almost 800 megabytes of sprites.
Oh wow.
Um, which I know some people that may watch this or 800 megabytes. That's not much for graphics. Well, we're talking stuff that's all this size.
It's all
You
in
know,
kilobytes. It's where size makes sense.
right? It's something like 40,000. Actually, you know what? I'll just pull it up and share it on the screen because that would be easiest.
Sure.
Um, so we're gonna stop that. We're gonna share screen. Boom, boom. So yeah, Kenny Game Assets All in One contains almost 40,000 game assets. It includes 2D sprites, 3D models, audio, fonts, and more. So,
Yeah.
$20, it helps them keep the lights on, helps
Oh,
them produce more stuff, and I'm not having to sit here and go, okay, well, I like, a few things from this pack, so I'll have to download this whole pack just to get
oh,
these couple things. Screw it, I'll just download it all at once.
I love it, and it really is great stuff. I
Yeah,
looked at it, I'm like, okay, I could do that and that. We just have to figure out what you want me to sprite out for you, because that's kind of what I do. Is that you're like, I have all of them. Okay, cool, that works too. You know, uh, I just wanted to give you enough pieces to play with before you could start making your Nick. I need a sprite of this, and this, and it all needs, a full turnaround. Okay, sure.
right. So, let me switch to that tab. There we go. So what Nick
Yeah,
is talking about here is the Kenny Shape uh, software, which is only $3.99 from their
yeah, that's what
website.
I bought. That's what I've been
And
working on.
yeah, and when I say only $3.99, I mean $3.99, not $399 like you'd be paying for. Well, I can't even say for Adobe because I'm pretty sure that's closer to $1,000.
Yep.
You know, and you draw it in 2D, and then you set your pixel depth, and it'll allow you to actually render a 3D image.
Yep. Now it is really prone towards mirroring. It really likes things to be symmetrical. So you'll notice the
Okay.
vast majority of the rendered objects, you can easily find the visual uh, axis.
Okay.
So you have an object file, because I didn't know to save it in Kenny Shape because I didn't have a thing, of a partially 3D rendered big stompy robot that I did, because I got it instead of working in 2D like any sane person and getting. No, I'm going full. This is a computer. What's that do? Learn by breaking it. Dang it! Isn't that how?
Oh, I
But
learned everything, so.
and what I love is it makes 3D images that you can save as objects.
Mhm.
So theoretically, you should be able to 3D print anything you make through this really, really easy.
That's true. Yeah.
And now I will admit, the program I really spent a lot of time in was Google SketchUp. And Google
Yes.
SketchUp is freaking sorcery. The problem is they decided to tack on, because it used to be freeware, great stuff. And then around version 7, they tacked on a mandatory that you can't use what you make for commercial stuff without paying a vast sum of money for licensing, which actually delayed a lot of my 3D efforts, because I had big stompy robots laid out in SketchUp for a while,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to do it without the license and have that come back and haunt me, and I'm not going to I can't afford to pay that ridiculous. I think they wanted like $1,000 for the license or something stupid like that. I mean, for if you wanted to use it to make video games or something, I'm like, God, no.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, this isn't. Yeah, it's a little bonehead, and it's going to look very, as Andrew would say, Minecrafty, very pixelated.
Mhm.
But if I could design stuff in here, and eventually get my 3D printer, either the one that needs to be assembled or the one that's fully assembled and works, except it suddenly doesn't, going, man, mass production on some big stompy robots. And how
Mhm.
cool would it be if they're based on exactly the models in the game?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm a sucker for dorky pixelization. I'm an old 8-bit, 16-bit gamer.
Mhm.
I'm still playing through again Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I was looking at the sprites in that, and they're glorious. I mean, it's a real art form that we've lost largely
Mhm.
because you have 3D rendering of the planes and stuff. So this is just it's so good. It's just so good.
All right.
I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine.
I'm excited. This is a great. Well, bucket list. Seeing a game based on one of my IPs happen, and having a hand in it.
Yep.
This is incredible, and I need to share that this video is going on more because this is a great video and people are going to miss out. But yeah, I can't. What I'm really looking forward to is when you know what you want to make this go enough that you go, okay, Nick, I need a sprite for this, and this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know 2 sprites that have to happen for the background at least. You know this, right? There's no choice. We have to do an up version of the Hi Richie, the Joe Bach Techno Union.
Yep.
And one of it exploding. So that because if we're doing big stompy robots, we have to have the Joe Bach Techno Union and have it explode. There's no choice in the matter. How are you, sir?
I figured I'd pop in and say hi before I ran out to go gaming. I saw the alert come up, and I'm like, ooh, a weird time for Joe to stream. So I figured I'd pop in, just goof off and say hi and bye real quick, because I really do not have enough of Joe in my life. And you were a surprise bonus when I saw you were on screen too. So, my brothers from other mothers, I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And
we love you.
I hope this goes the distance because I would love to see it. And if you need help, let me know. I might not be able to provide it, but as Sam would say, I might know a guy.
Awesome.
So, and in case you're wondering what we're wanting to see what we're working on here, we have actual BSR sprites now.
Yeah, I heard him talking about the sprites, and when I saw Nick and the gaming edition, I'm like, oh, I put everything together. So I'm like, yeah, this must be for BSR. Rock on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And while I have you here, because I love doing business, I may have something very special for you to play test.
Okay.
In that people who've been working on the BSR project know there's 3 tiers of BSR that I wanted to do. The quick play version, one-on-one grudge fest, the skirmish game, and then the next level, which is that row of ... What only about 5 people know is I have the tech tree set up for the next level. So that, because I have this thing about parody. God, I sound like a Minecraft designer. But, you want to play the video game? Fine. You don't want to play the video game? That's okay. Do you want to play the exact thing on tabletop? I think we can make that happen. So I've had something percolating for several years that got put off for the hybrids contract. And now that the hybrids contract is reaching a point of stability where Luke's going to give 25 more days where it's going to be available, and then it's not going to be available for an unknown amount of time more to try and give that whole FOMO thing. I get to work on my projects now. And Joe is just taking this like, I got this dumb idea. And I was so heartbroken when Flash died because I'd been working on doing very similar things in Flash, which I mourn. Yes, I know it was completely.
It had more security holes than Swiss cheese in some cases, but
I know.
Man, I had more security holes in my dice bag, and that's chainmail.
Yes. You have better luck bailing water with a pair of fishnets, but I still, Flash was so.
And because you say fishnets, all of a sudden what's going through my mind is I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Well, and with all this BSR stuff, I know there's been a bit of Antissa.
Wait for it.
Patient. But, but I want to make it worthwhile. So,
and for you kids out here that are not getting this reference, ask your parents about a cult classic called Rocky Horror, and then go educate yourself. You can come back and watch this on replay.
Back in my day, we had a time warp.
And we did it
Again. Oh.
I'm going to say possibly the most dated reference ever. I truly believe the man in the back.
Tracy Lords? Oh,
Oh,
wrong
no,
type of
farther.
dated.
Haha! No, the man in
Wrong
the
kind of
back
dated.
who told everyone to attack was the piano player from the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. Because we all have to do what the piano player says. Did he? We lost Richie. We lost him.
Oh no!
Oh.
You know, my Ballroom Blitz is now
Yeah.
playing in the back of my head.
Uh-huh.
Ballroom Blitz.
See, the nice thing is none of us can sing well enough that we could ever be copyright struck for singing, because I'm pretty sure in a court of law we could prove that it's so transformative by the notes being so wrong.
Well, also, usually the snippets that we kick off are maybe 10 seconds at best, and 10 seconds or less is usually within fair use.
Oh, I rationally I know that. I'm just playing. And look,
how did you manage to sing that in the key of A minor?
How did you manage to sing that in the key of W? There is no key of W.
yes, it is. It's when you hit the button on your old electric keyboard, and instead of music, it goes wah, wah, wah.
Oh,
Wah.
and Richie almost lost the machine.
Didn't you have the
Let's
wah
follow in
voice?
this house.
Wah, 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 wah.
I had the displeasure of having to fix my old electric typewriter many a time, because my parents were too cheap to buy a good one for me to begin with, and then were too cheap to get it repaired when it needed to be repaired.
You know, since we are talking really old tech, and Joe is working on things, and distractions are good for everybody, I got asked, what was the first video game of your own that you played? The first video game you had. And I'm like, shoot, I remember the hero, and I know what system it was on. What was the name of the game? So I go into, you know, my original computing system, quite possibly the greatest computer ever made, the Tandy-Color Computer 3. And I start looking for B-Rick, and the name of it, the game, was A Space Amazing World of Malcolm Mortar. Well, I went to share the picture of the cover. I clicked it, and instead it downloaded the ROM for the game. The ROM for the game was a smaller file than the picture of the cover of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, we live in a weird world. Because
Go to Project Gutenberg and look up H.G. Wells' Island of Dr. Moreau, which Project Gutenberg is a completely public domain site. Everything is free because everything is in the public domain, so everything can be given away for free. It was 169K in size. A blank Word document is bigger. Actually, maybe nowadays with the XML files, it might not be, but in the old days of binary, a blank
yeah,
Word file could be
bigger,
larger than my lily white butt, and I have a very large lily white butt.
Well, I mean, this whole stream is a wider shade of pale, but.
Hey, the beacons of Gondor are lit. Gondor calls for aid.
But No, it's new glasses time. No, I love technology that feels like older tech done right. It's why, even though I use Clip Studio Paint for a lot of what I do, one of my favorite digital image editors is Paint.net. I love that program because it's literally somebody went, you know what would be great if MS Paint had layers? Because I don't need the super crazy image manipulation stuff. I just need some basic tools and a few layers to make stuff go. And dang, if that program doesn't work great when you're just trying to do bonehead stuff. I like having bonehead programs for bonehead applications. That's why every computer I own still has one of my favorite programs of all time being, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it the way I say it, Joe, Microsoft GIF Maker. And the thing about...
What's wrong with pronouncing it right?
that might be what happens every time he bombards me with radiance. I'll just start talking about the joy of GIFs and watching him twitch. But the thing about GIF Maker...
New plan for a secret level. The whole background's going to be a gradient. And I'm not going to tell him where I'm sticking the secret entrance at.
Oh. Gradient max.
Oh, that's one thing.
Gradient background.
Everything gets gradientized. I love it. I love it. Your logo for the Independent Creators Directory in the corner does wound me every time I glance up. I want to let you know that.
It'll be your cow level. There
oh,
is no
absolutely.
Cow level. Yes, there is the cow level.
Whatever you talk about, there's no cow level. But well, see, and that's the thing. After we figure out how this all works and what things he needs, there have to be completely moronic and insane Easter eggs put out. It's an indie game. That's part of what makes indie game.
You need weird shit thought up? I can do that. Not only is that my wheelhouse, that is my permanent home, that is my vacation home.
The word you are looking for is bailiwick, which is one of my favorite words in the English language.
Oh, it's my bailiwick too, but I'm saying it.
No, I understand.
It is not just a bailiwick for me. It is a home for me.
That is the demi-plane of evil for Rich. That is his Ravenloft.
That which is weird.
Yes.
If I can cause someone to go, I have a good day. I get good days off of Nick a lot.
Yes. I am gifted in helping people like you have good days. It's just, I don't know, is it my calling? But I love what Big Snoppy Robots is and what it brings out in people. Because it's like the perfect mirror opposite of modern gaming. You know? It's like, what are you doing? Oh, we'll blow stuff up. And it's going to be fun.
Can't tell I'm a friend of Nick's. I'm going through my office looking for things, and I'm pulling out old, used pill bottles filled with chainmail projects. What I'm really looking for are pens. Yay, I found the right one.
So, folks, we're doing, as part of that GoFundMe for Rich, we're also going to try to get him a box of pens and a pen holder to put on his desk.
Oh, I've got a box of pens.
If we can get enough subscribers to Rich, we'll get him one of those bank pens with the chain.
Wouldn't help. Puck would move stuff. That's what he does.
Oh yes.
That's why he is a good house kobold.
Oh, by the way, Joe, and this could apply to you, Rich. I don't think you have the funds. You need to tell Trelena especially that not this weekend, but next weekend is ALA in Chicago.
I will let her know.
What's that?
We
The
have
American Library Association?
Yes, the 5-year library con.
Ah, that's what the 5-year thing was the other day.
Yes. But you know, there are some people who may end up missing it, and I'm not sure I'm going to be mad about that. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and just how I'm going to get the mountain of books comfortably on the train back, because I really don't want to drive into Chicago, and if I ride the train, I don't have to, which is nice. But it's still a nearly 2-hour trip.
Nearly. Well, yeah, it's going to be 2 hours just to get to the train station for you.
Yeah, but it means not having. Well, the problem is both my vehicles are considered trucks, and they don't want to let SUVs and pickup trucks in certain parts of Chicago anymore.
I haven't had any problems. I drive an SUV.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
I've got a Traverse. Misty has an Equinox. And I'm going into the West Loop.
Oh, wow.
So not necessarily over by where you go, but because you're going over by because it's at McCormick Place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's across town from where I go, but they haven't stopped me yet. And the thing is, I don't see them. I find it odd that they would put that restriction on, but I mean, again, it might not apply to the part of town that I go, because there's also a lot of lawyers that drive SUVs. So, and there's a lot of law firms in my part of town. Just kind of good, considering I work for a law firm that you need to have lawyers in the part of town I have to go to. But nobody's tried to stop me or anything like that, and there's a ton of them. Plus, anymore, you've got the really nice Uber Blacks, and a lot of the Uber Blacks are SUVs to give them more room and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, instead of going with limos, I see VIPs, going around in an SUV with a escort of SUVs before and behind. So now I can see them trying to limit pickup trucks, but honestly, they would have to put a lot of signage up, and I'm surprised that wouldn't hit national level news of that kind of segregation of vehicles.
It's also been 10 years, I think, since I've really had a reason to go into that part of Chicago. I don't, I hit a part of my life where I was way too broke to go anywhere. And then, yeah.
There right now. In fact, in a couple minutes here, I got to cut and run and finish packing up the laptop and everything and head over to my brother-in-law's. And then I'm driving out to Cherville with him, my sister-in-law, and my nephew to go game at my best friend's since we were 12, really.
Cool.
At his place. So playing Pathfinder.
Nice.
Nice.
Good system.
Dungeons and Dragons 3.75, because we're still playing first edition in that group. First edition of Pathfinder, not first edition of Dungeons and Dragons. But
no, that's far more my bailiwick most of the time.
Second edition Pathfinder's not bad. It's kind of fun. And it's a lot more survivable at low levels. lot more survivable at low levels.
I have this, for RPGs, I like the low levels to be kind of squishy. I like that you really, you know what I'm saying?
I like there to be a lot of element of, oh, we just got our butt kicked, not, oh, half the party's dead. And some of the hit point levels, of earlier editions of Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, that's not really hard to get hit one time and your little mage be
wizard. The wizard died of 1d4 embarrassment. Emotional damage.
Yeah.
The wizard died because of a shark.
Yeah.
And not their own.
Nope.
But it's. I think it still gives a nice element of danger, without the fear of I have to have 6 characters as backup to make sure that we can make it through this module.
And I think that also goes into the kind of game you're playing, because I don't mind rogueliting an RPG either. Like, oh, well, everybody dead. Let's see, when's the last time you all were alive? Okay, let's reset. Is anything going to change?
We hit the save point.
Yay! And I love that, because right now I am working on taking you remember my Microlight RPG? I think you actually have a copy. The one page, but I realized that was written incomplete. Almost. Yeah, Nick Ease a la Elder Gamer, Speak not to me of the deep magics. I was there when they were laid, but so I'm working on translating it and expanding it, because my original plan was I was just going to publish it. 1 page PDF should be no problem. Amazon could not process that. It could not process that.
Yeah, Amazon wants what, at least 14 pages?
Well, no, for print, yes. But I mean, it started with I was going to just do it as an ebook, put it up, and then get working on other stuff, because I've had it around for years. But I realized Amazon won't process it nice, so now I have to format it, and I hate formatting. But while I'm formatting it, I might as well tweak it to sort of closer to how I run things. So that's kind of, oh my gosh. Oh, this is cool.
This feels so Atari 2600, and I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Classic NES. And yeah, it's somewhere between Atari and NES, and I can eat this for breakfast. I love this.
Between Atari, NES, and with just a sprinkle of Sega.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. It does feel early Sega.
Oops.
There's some nice curves there that feel very Sega-esque as far as flavor goes. I should change my headline to, Rich Asplin, video game art snob. But this is evidently early Coleco. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to kind of say that I'm, an old gamer art snob. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Oh my gosh, yes! I love that so much. I love that so very much.
That is beautiful.
Why is the interaction not working? Oh, yep, okay. Start following me.
Bad touch, bad touch, bad touch.
This is my no-no square.
I didn't think you know the no-no square. Okay. Ah.
No, don't touch me there. That's my no square.
No-no square. I still don't
Yeah,
understand.
my child had to apprise me of that. Because I was like, no, bad touch. That's my no spot. When people are trying to hurt me, my entire body is my no spot.
Oh.
Caused a strike team wipe in Destiny. Because we're sitting there, we're doing. They're helping me on a quest that was just kicking my ass. I was being fisted by Crota. It was the Fist of Crota. But he just kept just whooping my ass every time we went in there. So a couple of my friends from the writer side, jumped in. They're actually the ones that got me into buying the PS5 to be able to play Destiny with them online. So we're talking about it. They hopped in. They helped me with it. My health was almost gone, and I was getting hit. And I'm like, bad touch.
Something moved
running
behind
away.
you.
That was Crow.
No, I don't think you understand how many Nuke's Top 5 Ghosts Caught on Camera shows I watch. So it instantly triggered the, did you see it? And
yeah, the door's open. So if Misty was home and had to pass by it, she would pass by at a blur too, because even though they're both beautiful, wonderful individuals who have great camera presence when they choose to go ahead and let it shine. I'm not snarky at all about that, but
no.
In honesty, I do feel that they both are that way. They run past every time there's a camera. No,
I totally understand that. It's not like I have a spouse who's absolutely radiant but hides from the camera in all things, even though she works with the public every day. But yeah, it's why. Anyway, to get back to what I was going to say, we were talking about old school. Let me give you a peek behind the scenes. I don't know if you could recognize it in that little, but do you see the image that is under the old smoke detector?
Hold on. Let me. Oops.
That is the original Zelda overworld map.
Okay. Oops. The hell did I just do?
There
we go.
I have that as a piece of art. I also have a copy that's framed, but the frame wasn't doing really well, so it's over elsewhere. So yeah, I have that. I want to put up the map of the complete Castlevania from Symphony of the Night, and I found this wonderful image of all the bestiary from Castlevania Symphony of the Night, all the sprites, and I just, I'm slowly decorating my space a little bit more, and it's an exciting time to be a dork.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm not. I know pops aren't a popular thing right now in a lot of circles, but Mandy hooked me up for Father's Day, and let me see. Let me see if I can reach them, because they have. I have to redo my wall of cool. I don't have knives because we didn't really care about knives in this one. But it started with me finding out that they did a proper wolfwood. And it was on clearance for like...
Oops. Wrong button.
Wrong lever, Kronk.
There's a proper wolfwood. With the new Vash coming out, there's a proper Vash. They have knives. I may end up ordering him just so that I have all 5. But I also have Millie and Meryl.
Rock on.
And she found them because they were like on super clearance, because pops are falling out of favor, and Trigun's got that reboot with the new designs and stuff.
For Father's Day, the wife and kids will often buy the fathers tools and wrenches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, this year, Misty and Crow got me a wrench set. Wrench, of course, being the kobold for Red Dragon Inn, the drinking board game.
Nice.
Finally picked up the 5th edition of that game as our first edition to jump into, because it came as a box with a lot of space to add additional stuff in. So basically you can put all 4 previous editions into this box, and then should have enough room for all later editions and all random characters that they put out on their own as well. So we've got that. We've got the Pookie set for Crow, because Crow loves playing the adorable familiar Pookie, who's a bunny. And then got Zarya, the summoner for Misty, because it comes that the character can summon a little lion pet. And then, of course, I'm looking through things. I'm like, kobolds. So
it looks like not Luigi just got shrunk into a vehicle. I realize I can make my screen much bigger and see you guys better, because I was watching it through the shrunken one to keep track of comments. But since we're not getting much on the way of comments, I will sit here and be greedy and have my whole beautiful screen going. But that is cool.
That is beautiful. Who's calling? Oh, my sister-in-law is calling to find out where the hell I am, because I should be there in like 2 minutes, and I'm still packing.
Oh,
so I gotta go, guys.
Later. All right, catch you later, Rich.
Bye.
And his theme was the Firefly theme.
Yes.
We are the whitest people I know.
Yes.
That's like just. Oh, that's good geek stuff right there. That's just. I needed that in my soul today. That is just good geek stuff.
Let me get this restarted here. I finally figured out why I couldn't interact with stuff. I forgot to turn on one single setting. Literally, one checkbox was keeping me from going up to this box here and being able to collect my gold.
Woohoo!
Or harm an enemy. Yes, it is working. I am taking damage. I can give damage. We're going to let him make sure the game actually resets. There we go.
This is so cool.
So a very basic level 0 is actually complete.
Well, it's already far better than most cell phone games, because what you see is what you get, not you know. If there's a pin to pull, you can actually pull the pin. But this is so cool. This is so cool, Joe. I know I'm just being repetitive and kind of goofy about it, but my God, this is cool.
Wow. And all those lovely sprites I just unleashed onto my hard drive.
Make it suffer.
So, yeah, this thing has. Let's share the window here. 2D assets. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. So this might be something I'll share over with you also, just so you can look at it and get
Drool.
ideas and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
we may not have to, reinvent the wheel on every little thing.
Right. Right.
So,
Absolutely.
they have a tile set for a top-down shooter. Really?
I'm interested.
That would be, huh? Let's see. Let's remove that
Mm-hmm.
and share screen. That one. So yeah, it's
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see what's going on here just fine. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
What does that have?
At this rate, you're going to end up with a pixelated VTT that Wizards hates because people like it better.
And then this is actually the whole tile set.
That is cool. And I like seeing like the tile sets show me better how to scale stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be able to do as much as I can that will make it distinctive for you.
Right.
But there's also the get the first one done and functional, and then we can make pretty. Oh, that's the build design. Well, this time I'm on the make pretty side of things. Very strange. Very strange. But no, it is remarkably fun to make the sprites. And with that, I'm almost afraid to tell you just drop the $4 and buy the program
Mm-hmm.
because it's almost.
Well, I don't know that I can do a gradient on that program, so I could probably find a way.
It might take some color picking to pull that off, but that is a great.
You'd shit if I actually made a gradient BSR.
No, you know what? I would twitch for the impact would make me twitch. I understand that, and then after that, I just have to concede to the glory. You know what I'm saying? I just have to admit how awesome that is. Because it's so fitting with our relationship. I love to point out that I'm sitting here doing this artsy stuff, and you've got your nice Matrix background with your other nice Matrix background in floating in space, green screen style,
Mm-hmm.
and the walls of Usher are rippling behind me. I am a very analog dude a lot of the time. And as I see occasionally it glitch and the code come burning through you, like it's burning out your center somehow.
Mm-hmm.
People may accuse me of being a cryptid. You realize you were for a couple of years of my life. There was great debate if Joe actually existed in the social networks around Trey.
Oh yeah, I fully admit I was a
Cryptid?
how do I want to word this? Urban legend.
Urban legend. Welcome to the club.
Mythical creature of the night.
And there it is. When you think hard, the code leaks through your eyes from certain angles.
Yeah.
I love it because it's just.
Yeah, it all just kind of.
Oh, God.
Little do you know, this is how I see the world. Oh.
Yeah, some people got the red pill and other people got the blue pill. Joey just visited me one day and left some nanobots behind and just neglected to mention, Resistance is futile. You've already been assimilated. Wait, what? What? Oh, I'm stuck. Oh,
Yeah,
But-
it happens.
it happens.
So this is some of the tank ones that they have in there already.
I mean, they're beautiful.
But we could probably use like some of the bullets, missiles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for the purpose of because I was doing everything straight top down rotational, but I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely am in love with the chunkiness of these designs anyway. They're just beautiful thunks of design.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, I gotta check the format my old sprites are in. Because if the white is translucent behind them, you have all those ancient sprites that I did when I was using, what was it, Game Maker for Flash, to try to make a similar game before I realized it really needed mecha. I'm not sure how I feel about that edge icon everywhere, though.
Yeah. Well, I just upgraded to Windows 11 on this machine the other day. It was actually it was Thursday because it was before stupid o'clock and all that. And at first, it went through, did this little update, and it rebooted, and then it said no boot disk found. Okay. Go into the BIOS, 2 different boot disks, both moved to the bottom. Well, no wonder you don't know where to boot from. All right, we'll try booting from this one first. No boot record found. Okay, must be the other one. Go to that one. Boots up. Sweet. Do a few things, restart the computer. No boot disk found. Are you serious? Go back into the BIOS. Found out that the one that was there is now gone, and I had to move the other one back up to the top. And now it's booting fine. But I do tend to use Edge for pretty much everything.
Really?
One, because the newest versions of Edge are based off of Chrome anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Chrome, for whatever reason, with me, it just ruins the way a machine runs. Like, I still have it on here because there's certain things with my job that I have to use Chrome with.
Really?
Yeah, for whatever reason, the state and their almighty wisdom thought it was a great idea to make some of the applications Chrome based. Like, you have to use Chrome for it to work properly.
That's interesting.
Now, some of those applications now you can actually get away with using Edge since it's based off Chrome. And others are sort of like, yeah, no, you're not on Chrome, so here you go. Now, with that being said, the company I work for, when we submit our time, I can't do it through Chrome. It has to be done through Edge. Chrome is still just different enough that Ajira is like, no, we're not gonna work.
I love that because that is so just yes, it makes all the sense. What I will always have Chrome on my box.
There
you go. Because the Dell Duct Tapetron of Doom, the Dell Duct Tapetron, had this bizarre problem that could not remain fixed, where Explorer would corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you did, Explorer would corrupt. And I'm trying to finish up my college years, and I can't start my computer because Explorer is corrupt. But I can't get into anything because Explorer is corrupt. And What? No, you don't need a command line. Why would you want a command line?
Isn't that the one that I ended up putting yeah, that
Yeah.
Ubuntu onto?
Yeah. Eventually, yes. Yes. But somehow I was messing with it and it's like Chrome. And I went, wait, are you pooping me? And it let me run my whole computer like it was a Chromebook before Chromebooks were a thing to get at my files and find hard find my programs, and I could activate them, but I had to navigate through the Chrome browser. That was the only thing that saved me access to everything. So I'm like,
back
okay.
when you could use the internet browsers as a very basic and limited form of Windows Explorer.
Yes. And that's the only thing that saved. That's how I finished college.
So that's how I showed my high school that they had a security issue. Back before we upgraded, or was it after we upgraded to Windows 2000? It was before we upgraded to Windows 2000 because the technology director had heard of me but had never really met me. We were doing something for a class, and one of the students forgot to change the directory it was going to save in because we used a program called Fortress at the school that basically when anybody would log in, even the tech director, when she would log in, it would not show the C drive, but you still had access to my documents, all that stuff.
Right.
Well, they forgot to switch it over to my documents before they hit save, and they're like, oh, and she's like, oh, well, give me a minute, I'll come over and unlock it and move the file. I'm like, don't need to do that. She goes, what? I'm like, yeah, here, watch. Pulled up Internet Explorer, C:/, pulled up the hard drive, went through the folders, found it, moved it over to my document. She goes, how'd you do that? You just saw me. I pulled up Internet Explorer, hit C:/, and walked through. She goes, what? You're not supposed to have access to the hard drive. Yeah, I know. Fortress doesn't block out the back doorway. Yeah. And then we found out that we had to do something different from Fortress when we upgraded to Windows 2000. Because all the school systems were running Windows 98 still back then.
Uh-huh.
And back then, under Windows 98, Control-Shift-Escape didn't do anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Control-Shift-Escape on anything Windows 2000 newer pulls up your task manager. So when we were setting up the new computers in the computer lab, we went through, got Fortress installed, doing all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I need to do something else. I need to disable Fortress. I hit Control-Shift-Escape. No password box pops up, but task manager comes up. I go, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I did this right. Control-Shift-Escape. Task manager. Shit. Mrs. Jones, we have an issue. You're going to need to learn Active Directory very quickly to figure out how to lock students out of the hard drives. And then, but I will say the software that Ivy Tech used, I don't know if they still do or not, but it was a software called Deep Freeze.
Yes, I'm familiar.
And this software was phenomenal at keeping people from screwing up settings. Because you could change whatever you wanted, but as soon as you restarted that machine, it went back to exactly how we had it set up.
Yeah.
To the point it survived a format from Linux.
Yep.
It formatted the drive, installed Knoppix, which is another popular form of Linux, or at least was. And then as soon as the kid rebooted again, went right back to Windows.
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with that because the several of the libraries I've worked at, those
Okay.
I worked at, Mandy had, because of the public computers to
Yep.
maintain patron privacy and such, which is great until something gets really screwed up on the wrong side of that wall,
hmm
and then it's just
It's
that's
also
fun to.
it's also great until one of the IT people forget to re-enable it after running
Uh-huh.
updates or yeah.
And it's funny because I've seen that happen at the libraries, where man's like, that computer doesn't work anymore, and
hmm
you need to come fix this. Why? Because it's not doing it anymore, and you messed with it. Well, I told you I was going to try something. Well, it failed, and there are many IT people, and most of them are pretty good, but there are a lot of very incompetent IT people who have gotten in places I don't know how. And I am not an IT people. I am a user. Although I have to be careful because anytime I say I'm a user, I usually get thumped by a proper someone in the echelons of IT and goes, "You can't be a user because if you know you're a user, you're not a user." you know.
Well, we've been going at this for a little over an hour.
Yep.
And I know you've got your art stream to do still.
Yes, I have to do that with the
Um,
joy of replugging in my tablet because my computer will not boot or update if the display tablet is plugged in.
mhm. But before we
Yeah.
go, I'm gonna pop this up here real quick.
Yeah.
Don't forget, folks, to check out the other live streams. I am a supporter of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. You got what is today? Saturday, so we'll have From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher with Jody McPhee later tonight at 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern. For those of you in the wrong time zone. Sorry, didn't mean to go after your knees like that, Nick.
I see what you're about. I
Yeah.
still see what's going on.
Oh, hi there. Pay no attention to the man behind the code. And then later, at about an hour in a Jody McPhee show, you have Holocon Stupid O'Clock, hosted by Joe Dog McKeel. We have entirely too many Joes that broadcast stuff.
There can be only one.
And then starting the week off at 12 a.m. Central, 1 a.m. Eastern, you got Dan Hollifield's Last Man Standing. So be sure to check them out later tonight. Didn't have music playing because I actually had a guest on here for once.
Right. Nice.
But all the music that is normally played on my shows is from Dan Hollifield. Check him out on bandcamp.com. You can find all the links to his sites or to his works on indiecd.org. Also, all the works of Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert here. All the various books that he has: the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, the Simple Spear, all of his BSR games, rule books, stories, and
I don't have my novellas to juggle.
Links to his live streams, art. And then, as always, if you'd like to tip the host, head over to streamelements.com/ndcd/tip.
I give him the whole thing.
Well, that's always preferred. Anywho,
I got a blush out of Joe. He didn't see it coming.
Right? But with that, folks, I think it is time to sign off and enjoy the rest of your guys' weekend. Have a great day.
Bye. I'll see you soon.